लख पर जीव बनत है जगा महान
Goes on going kitchen.
Itu dong kok be. Itu beda kona dia. Ada coba lah nih item nih nanti digoreng di perjalanan sampai ke ini kan. Where's the foot? Where's the foot? Let's go. Kita jangan ke apa? Betul. Tadi siang. Betul. Kita kau dapat tu. Kalau kita yang mata ni kau. Nah, yo, kau cuci kau. Kau cuci? Ya, betul. Dia satu kau cuci. Dia masih sana tu, di rumah di sana tu. Di rumah. Nah, can hear clear. For legal, yeah, for can check it now.
Yeah.
Mama here. Esse é o sem menino, mamãe.
Uy, walang nangyari ko kay.
Chris.
Ikaw.
You want to see Mama again, you know? Yeah. No, baby. Mama go. See Mama?
Om Shri Hasapratana.
Bisa ambil balik.
Ini sam.
Biasa, komen. Lebih kasar.
Just ya dari mana? Dua kan cepat, cuma just boleh kali itu. Mau di sini bisa. Om Shri Vishaya Namaha. Kan? Madhavaya Namaha. Om Shri Hasaprachaya Sarvadevanam Osharajjan Namaste Again? Keep going.
Yes.
One maybe small. Take on rice. Close. Let them bring close. Oh, they'll put some. Aperto todo aperto todo isso. Sabas? Kita beli di lain dia apa namanya? प्रेम से बोले वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की प्रेम से बोले वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय. Okay, so devotees, before we begin, just some house announcements that I'm obliged to say before we begin the actual rites and rituals. I have to alert that we are guided by the regulations that are given. There are exemptions for funerals and so on, but we have to maintain the guidelines of social distancing, wearing your mask at all times, or at most times, and down at the cremation site, they will only allow the main participants into the area there. So what happens is, if there anybody to join us down there, what I'll do is we'll stop at the beginning. Those who want to come and see there can view very quickly and go back, and the main persons will be allowed there. So if there anybody joining us there, you can let them know that, right? But they have to be there when we reach. Okay? So I know we are all one family and so on, but you know the regulations doesn't distinguish between family and non-family and so on. Even if we are in the same car, we have to put on our masks. So let us be guided by that. So today we've come to pay our final respects, to give our final send-off to our dear mother, grandmother, friend, our matriarch of the family. In so doing, we will perform several rites and rituals. I will try to do a little explanation as we go along. But before we begin, we perform what is called the sankalp, or prayer promise that we are about to commit this body back into the element. So let us put our hands together, close our eyes and bow our heads. pray. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha, Shri Saraswati Namaha, Shri Guru Charanakamalyo Namaha. Om Apavitra Pavitro Va Sarva Bastham Gato Viva Yasmanit Pundarikaksham Sabhya Vyantara Shuchehe. Om Shri Vishnu Shri Vishnu Shri Vishnu. Om Swastina Indro Brihashravaha Swastina Pusha Vishvaveraha Swastina Staksho Rishthanemihi Swastino Brihaspate Danatu. Om Dhyau Shanti Antarakshagam Shanti Pretave Shanti Apah Shanti Aushare Shanti Vanaspate Shanti Vishvareva Shanti Brahma Shanti Sarvagam Shanti Shanti Reva Shanti Sama Shanti Redhesu Shanti Bhavatu. Om Tatsat Arya Shrimad Bhagavato Mahapurushasya Vishnuragneya Pravartamanasya Brahmanodviti Prare Shvetavarha Kalpe Saptame Vaivasmanvantare Ashtavimshatama Kalyuge Kalipratamacharane Jambodvipe Westine Skale Trinidad Deshe Shri California Grame Om Shri Adik Mase Shukla Pakshe Saptami Titau Shri Moola Nakshatre Shri Ayushman Yoge Shri Vanij Karane Shri Buddhavar Dini. And you take your last names with the name of the dearly departed in your mind, and we pray to Bhagavan Shri Krishna as we begin our rites and rituals this morning. Nam manah kait vacha sik manasik jnata jnata sakala doshi parihartam Shrote smriti puranupalpraptyartam At Shri Antyeshta Samskaram Aham Karishye. Om Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutaha Stunvanti Devyaistave Vede Sangha Pada Pramo Panishade Gayante Yam Samagaha Dhyana Vastata Tadgatena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yogino Yasyantam Navedo Sura Suragana Devaya Tasmai Namaha Vasure Vasutam Devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagat Gurum. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. प्रेम से बोले श्री कृष्ण चंद्र भगवान की जय. Devotees, what we are about to do today is something that, even though it is sad, even though it is difficult, even though it brings grief and sometimes despair, it is something that we all have to go through. Because as certain as we are born in the world, so certain there is a time that we have to go. We have to give up this mortal body. And whatever religious belief we belong to, we go to that form. So if we are Hindus, our general belief is that Yamaraj comes and we either follow the path Yamaraj or Bhagwan Shri Krishna leads us to this new journey. If we are if we belong to other faith, that is our belief system and so on as well. So whatever form of God that you hold dear, you ask to please guide, please protect, please be there for our dear mother on her new journey. And these rites and rituals that we perform, it is like preparing the body for that final Hawan. We are all made up of 5 elements, and 5 elements only: earth, fire, wind, water, and akash. And we essentially purify the body before it is placed into that funeral pyre for the final element of fire to consume the physical body. So what we do here is basic symbolic purification by water, the offering of chandan and essence and so on, and the performance of arti, because today will be the final time that we will be blessed to see the physical form of our dear mother. Right? So what we'll do is you sprinkle water and you walk around 3 times. You will touch, touch them, right? And you walk around 3 times while sprinkling. Right? Om Bhurvuvah Swaha Gotrasya Pretasya Shri Sharirasnanam Maya Diyate Tavopatishtatam Bhurvuvah Swaha Gotrasya Pretasya Sharirasnanam Maya Diyate Tavopatishtatam. Gotrasya Pretasya Gandham Maya Diyate Tavopatishtatam. I'll just take permission to remove my mask for a moment. I hope nobody calls Gary or anything. So the devotees, we have with us these malas, and how it is offered, it is broken and then offered to our dearly departed for 2 main reasons. One, the actual physical reason, because that is how it is placed, because for practical purposes. The other one is, if you look at the malas, they contain different flowers, different sizes, different shapes, some different types, different colors. All of them represent the lives that we go through. It is believed, it is said in our scriptures, Puranapi Jalanam Puranapi Maranam, again birth and again life. And that thread is the world of samsara. Eventually, the purpose of our existence is to break this world of samsara, to break this thread, so that we do not come back into this world. We achieve that realization of Godhood. So we want to eventually break this samsara. So that's why it's broken symbolically and placed onto the what's her name? What's your name? Marie? Noreen? Alright, so you'll just hang around there so you could be me now, yeah, for this moment, right? Right, so let's place it. Om Bhurbhuva Swaha Gotrasya Pretasya Shri Pushpamala Maya Diyate Tavopatishtakam. Alright, you know this, right? Place it on the, nicely. Bhurbhuva Swaha Gotrasya Pretasya Shri Pushpam Pushpamala Maya Diyate Tavopatishtakam. We now perform Aarti. Those the immediate family, who want to perform Aarti can do so now, offer flowers or whatever now, and at the end, everybody will get an opportunity to do the same. Right? So just the immediate family now, those here and those that are there. Come here, and you will touch hands. 5 seconds, right? Let us join in a simple bhajan. Popular one, so let us all join in. Jai Krishna Hare, Shri Krishna Hare, Dukiyo ko dukha dur kari. Jai 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 Krishna Hare, Jai Krishna Hare, Shri Krishna Hare, Dukiyo ko dukha dur kari. Jai Jai जब चार तरफ अंधियारा हो आशा का दूर किनारा हो जब चार तरफ अंधियारा हो आशा का दूर किनारा हो और कोई न केवनहारा हो फिर तू ही मेरा पार करी जय 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 कृष्ण हरे जय कृष्ण हरे Shri Krishna Hare. I am sending this message directly to you, O Lord. So just put another, right there in Hari Ho Rama Milan Kabaho Andizwala Girahi Hari Ho Rama Milan Kabaho Andizwala Girahi Dehi Arathvami Indriyana Pahiya Dehi Arathvami इंद्रियन पहिया भव के पंत चले ओ भव के पंत चले अंधिरवाला गिरही हरि हो राम मिलन कबहु अंधिरवाला गिरही पाप पाप निष्ठय में जीवन निंदिया भजन के भोर भये ओ भजन के भोर भये अंधेजवाला गिरही हरि हो राम मिलन कबहु अंधेजवाला गिरही जाग्रत स्वप्न सुषुप्ति तुरैया जाग्रत स्वप्न सुषुप्ति तुरैया जीतो तब राम मिले ओ जीतो तब राम मिले अंधेजवाला गिरही हरि हो राम मिलन कबहु अंधेजवाला गिरही वेद पुराण ग्रंथ बहु व्यंजन वेद पुराण ग्रंथ बहु व्यंजन पाकर भांज भली ओ पाकर भांज भली अंदेज वाला गिरही हरि हो राम मिलन कबहु अंदेज वाला गिरही हरि हो राम मिलन कबहु यम द्वारे महाघोरे यम धीना तमसास्ते तत्रावलोकमार्ताय दीपोऽयं तवोपतिष्ठताम् Gulinsan yung mga vitamin D oh. Kailan corona? महागौरी अंजीना तमसाकति तत्रावलोकमार्ताय दीपोऽयं तवोपतिष्ठताम् Okay, so it would be remiss of me if I did not say a few words, but before I do so, I would just like to call upon a member of the family who would first of all introduce herself to me. She would probably be known to you all, and she has a few words to say, so I'll ask her to come forward if you don't want to wear the mask.
So a pleasant good morning to each and every one of you all. I greet you all in the wonderful name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. This eulogy was written by Auntie and was emailed last night. And then I have a little piece, I guess, from all of us, little words, right? So she says, my mother Jagwantia Deo Re Ramnath, who was 89 years old, departed this life on Sunday, the 20th of September 2020. She was the mother of Krishna, also known as Mala, Narayan, also known as Shunka, Satnarayan, also known as Ankapat, Hari Narayan, Paltu or Hari, Kamla, Parvati, also known as Patsy, Sumati, Listra, and well, Leela, right? She was a grandmother of 16 and a great-grandmother of 14. My mother Jagwantia got married to my father, Deo Ramlal, at a very early age of 11 years old. So I'll just stop there and I would reiterate that memory Priya and I had with this, where we were speaking to Mama about how she met Nana. And Mama was saying that she was in the field. And Ajo and Nana was coming down to meet her parents. And she was hiding and peeping because she wanted to know, well, she knows she's going to have an arranged marriage, but she was hiding and peeping. She wanted to see the fella. So I think he had asked her how she felt and stuff. So she did mention, you know, she didn't have any feelings. She was frightened because she was in her mother's house. She's 11 years old and they're going to marry she off. So I'm continuing with Auntie's stuff now. Just as a child, as she said, did not know anything about marriage or husband. She talked a bit about her life before marriage. She was working, collecting boulders from a riverbed, then piling them to the side of the road for collection. Then after marriage, where she helped out in the rice land or field. I found out this, Auntie found out this information and when Mama was now getting dementia. So she is saying, my parents were married for approximately 58 years old until the passing of Nana, which was in January 2000. Everyone who knows my mother knew her to be very quiet, to be polite, to be peaceful, always smiling. She was the best mother anyone could have ever wished for. And we, her children, her grandchildren, her great-grand, were all loved, cherished, and cared for. And I know she received very much love in return. I remember seeing my nieces and nephews, which will be us, the grandchildren, walking through the house, going in the kitchen to see what Mama cooked before going to their own homes. So I want to just read my part now. My grandmother was a very loving person. My grandmother was a very loving person. She loved her husband up to before she could stop speaking. She would always look for Nana. She always saying where Nana is. She had to go cook for Nana, even in the bed. Mama, what are you going to do? I had to go and cook. I had to study what I'm going to cook for Nana. She loved her husband dearly, despite what? Having 9 children, I know each and every one of you would have experienced the love of Mama. And we, the 14 grandchildren, also felt that love. We all felt very special. And each one of us thought we were the apple of her eyes. She loved each one of us, despite there were so many of us. Each one of us had an individual love for Mama. Each one of us had an individual relationship with Mama. She was humble, she was kind, she was long-suffering. Despite the many challenges she would have gone through in her life, she was pleasant, she was full of joy. She had a lot of self-control. She was always peaceable. She had a forgiving spirit. She never held any grudge against anybody. She was very patient. She gave herself selflessly. She poured out all of her love to her loved ones. She worked hard. She grew up, she would get up before the sun gets up. She would get up very early in the morning, ensuring everybody and everything and everyone was taken care of. She was never idle. Her hands were always busy, cooking, preparing, cleaning, washing. And as I mentioned cooking, and Auntie mentioned it too, she was a very good cook. All of us could attest that she was a very good cook. The house always had food. Any time of the day. You now come from school, you now come from work. You go upstairs there. The house had food. Roti, rice, roti again. It always had food. It always had food. Even, I know sometimes friends come over from school. Mama have food and she pot to feed me and she friends too. And I guess each one of us could attest to that. Mama was she had exceptional managerial skills. She could manage a good house. She managed her children. She managed food. I would say she even managed finances when you all were younger. She always had and she always made do with what she had. She never begged. I never hear Mama ask anybody for anything. I would say she was a great physician as well. She had the remedy for every cold. She had the remedy for every cough. She had the remedy for every belly ache. She had the remedy for every headache, every toothache, every virus. And it worked because all of us still here. She was always aware, willing, and ready to take action. So I just want to share a short story when Mama was now into her stage of dementia. Because we live in front of the Point Lisas Industrial Estate, when they emit their fumes, Uncle, I know you remember this. When they emit their fumes, Mama used to see the glass window and she used to ball the house burning down. And she run for a bucket of water. She run for a bucket of water to go and out down the fire, but this time it's just a reflection of the gases being emitted in the Point Lisas Industrial Estate. So that is how she was aware, she was willing despite the early stages of dementia, and she's ready to take action. Mama held this family together with all of these traits and so much more, and I know each one of us here could attest of the goodness of God through Mama. So on behalf of the family, I would like to take this opportunity to thank each and every one of you for joining us, for praying with us, for giving us words of encouragement, even as we say our final goodbye to Mama, because she will dearly be missed. Thank you.
Yes, so wonderful words there. Is there anyone who would like to, just leaving the floor open a little bit, anyone who would like to say a few words, share a memory, some incident, can do so now, very briefly. Anybody? Okay, don't rush. No one? Okay, so then you all will have to probably listen to me for a few more months, right? Alright, so those who want to take your seats, you can take your seats and so on, make yourselves comfortable. We won't be too long again, but it would be remiss of me if I didn't offer my sincere condolences initially to the family and to share a few words of my own, or maybe not of my own, but some thoughts of my own. This is always a very difficult time. We have our pujas. It's always a joyous occasion. Preparations, performance of the puja, feeding people, a happy time. We have a child being born. There are rites and rituals or some scars for that as well. Always a joyous time, and Chatti and Barahi and so on, that takes on its own connotations in Trinidad. We have yajnas and weddings and so on, and all of these things are very happy, joyous time that we celebrate. But there is one samskar that it is not that joyous for us. It is sometimes filled with a lot of sadness, sorrow, despair, anxiety, and it is something that we don't look forward to. None of us look forward to, none of us are totally prepared for it, but all of us have to encounter it. For others, as well as for ourselves. And for me, performing these rites and rituals, you get to know a little bit about the family. And that knowledge of the family is a knowledge of how the individual lived their life. That togetherness, that closeness, that willingness to participate in the rituals, that to support each other, to be there for each other, that comes from our dear mother. So I want to just leave you with a little story. And then I'll ask you a question. I can ask you the question now. And that is, why are we all here now, presently? Why are we here? Why are we in this spot now?
Pay respects.
Is it to say goodbye? Is it to pay respects? To pay our regards? Is it to show our face? Because there are people who do that as well, right? We have to figure out, why are we truly here? And I want you to think about that, because it might seem a very simple question. What I would like to inculcate and to ask of you is that we are here not only to pay respects, to offer our sympathies, our condolences, but also to carry on the legacy, the tradition, the beliefs, not religious, but the morals and values that our mother has inculcated in us. So I'll leave you with a little story. I realize there are people of various faiths here, so it's not taken from any scriptures. It's taken from a book called Black Midas by John Carew. I don't know if any teachers here probably, I was introduced to it in Form 1, very long time ago. I'm only looking so good, but I have some age. In this book, there is this story of a village, and the chief of the village had passed away. And the elders got together and decided that 3 candidates, they would ask to see who is the best to lead this village, who will be the new chief. So this village sat on the foothills of a huge mountain that no one had reached the top of. So you know what they said? They devised a test, a plan, a means. And they said, whoever reaches the heights of that mountain, they will show that they have the capacity, the capability, the know-it-all, the strength, the determination, and they will be crowned the chief of the village. So the 3 young men started up this mountain. After a few days, they saw in the distance someone coming down the mountain. His fist was clenched, and he came speeding down the mountain. And when he was passing the village, the elders stopped him and said, "Oh, where are you going?" He said, "Well, I've reached very high on the mountain." So they said, "Well, how high have you reached up the mountain? Show us some proof." So he opened his hands, and in his hands he had a plant that no one had seen before. I don't want to say herb because that might give the wrong impression. So a plant. So they said, "You have reached very high, but let's wait and see what the others, how high the others have reached." So they waited. A couple of weeks passed, turned into a month, and then the second young man came down, running down the mountain with his fist clenched again. And they stopped him. They said, "How high have you reached up the mountain? Look at what the first person brought." So he said, "Man, I see that on the way up." So they said, "Proof. Show me some proof. Show me what you have to prove that you have been that high up the mountain." So he opened his hands, and in his hands he had a stone, a gem, and no one had seen before. So they said, "You have reached very high up the mountain, but there's still one person up on the mountain. Let us wait." So they waited. Weeks went by, months went by, almost a year had passed. And they were losing faith. They were losing hope. And after a while, they saw coming down the mountain the third person. His fist was clenched again. But they noticed something different about him. He had a smile on his face. He seemed at peace, at ease. So when he came, they stopped him and they said, "Tell us, how high have you reached up on the mountain?" Your 2 compatriots brought a plant and a stone and they showed him. He said he had passed that all up on the way. He had reached the top of the mountain. And on the top, he saw that he said, "I saw many villages, many other villages, many streams, many other mountains, the plains, I saw rivers." They said, "Really?" He said, "Yes, there's so much to see, so much to experience up on the top of the mountain." So they said, they were looking at his fist, his clenched fist, they asked, show us that proof." So he said, while I was there, there was this white substance on the ground. It was cold to the touch. It was on the trees. And it started falling from the heavens. And you all know what that substance is, right? Snow. So he said, I grabbed hold of some of that. And I've brought it here for you today. So they said, okay, let us see. Show us the proof. And he opened his hands. And what do you think there was in his hands? Nothing. Nothing. But you know what they could not take away from him? You see that experience that he had? That vision that he saw? That is something that he had personally. And that is something that no one could have taken away from him. You don't need physical things to prove your existence. House, land, all of these things will go. Our bodies itself will go. This stula sharir, this body, this human body, this embodiments of the 5 elements, all of that will come and go. But what will remain is our experiences. The people we have touched, the morals, the values we have inculcated in our children and grandchildren, the goodness that we have shared with the world. That is something that you can't physically take away from anybody. So today we commit the body of our mother or grandmother into the elements. And when we make those stops along the way, those 5 stops, the manzilas as we call them, it is a symbolic representation. We are returning these elements back to its origin. The element of earth, the element of fire, the element of water, wind, and akash. We are saying, you return to the elements. And from today onwards, she begins another journey. The journey of the Atma. Until either it takes life in another being, or it merges with that supreme consciousness. The realization of the oneness of God. So from today onwards, we will no longer have that physical body to look at, but we would have the memories, the experiences, the morals, and the goodness that she has shared. Prem se bole Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki jai. Let us put our hands together, close our eyes and bow our heads as we say a prayer to Bhagwan Shri Krishna. For those who are Hindus, for those who are not, you take the form of God that you hold dear, and we pray. Om Mukham karote vachalam Pangum langhayate girim Yat kripa tamaham vande Paramananda madhavam Vasudeva sutam devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagat Gurum Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudeva. Prem se bole Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki jai. Okay, so what we have now, we offer the pinda, and those who want to view the body for the final time can do so before we begin that journey to Waterloo. Right? So take your time there. Come on this side. Just going to the right hand. Open the right hand and place this into the right hand. Right? Come, touch hands. Om Shri Pratamahandamaya Diyate Avopatishtatam. That's right in the right hand. Pull this in the right. That's fine, that's fine. Let me take it out. Pull this, put this in the right hand. Up our water, you know how you open, right? Like this, come to the camera, right? Om Bhudva Swaha Bhudrasya Shri Tarpanasya Annatamam Annatarpanasya Mahadiyate Avopatishtatam. For those who want to view the body for the final time and offer whatever final flowers and so on, you can do so now before we begin that journey. Right here on the pavement. यं भारे महाघोरे यन्त्रेण तमसा प्रतिपदावलोकमाताय दीपोऽयं तावोपतिष्ठाम् श्रीपञ्चतत्त्वा शान्तिः Benar, pakai kanan. Kenapa di
Brooklyn. Every time.
Lord, you have people all of you body I think.
They're doing it right there. Right here.
Right, and only 10 people are allowed to go inside, right?
Everybody remember the regulation, you come with you and you go back.
You come on this side. Right?
That's fine. Right, touch hands. Alright, everybody. You just have to go back one time, man.
Nam, Satya. See first, listening. Nam, Satya. Come again this way. North to south. We have too many people here. So Om Yam Kare Mahakore Andena Tamasakriti Avalokamartaya Depo Yam Tavopati Panchatattva. This again same process. Feet first. Just open the shade and let it be there. Ready? Nam Nam Satya hai. Nam Nam Satya. Andena Tamasakriti Om Shri Panchatattva Shanti. So we go in the fire, right, on this side. Panchamitanam Yadiyate Patishtam Vosvaha Votrasya Pretasya Tarpanasya Yadiyate. Alright. Dware Mahagore Andhena Tamasakriti Tattravalokamartaya Depoyam Tavopatishtatam. The flowers. You all can help, everybody can help. Yeah. Only flower, leave the pen now.
Yeah, mala everything on this side.
Alright, those who here, you had to just go back, and if they want to come, they could come, but we can't all congregate here at the same time. Yeah, right, but those who are here, so like 4 or 5 just, you know, step back and come, you know, but just come a few and then go back, you know, but yeah. Once you could. No, but if I practice from now on the edge and oh, straight out the fade if I got anything. For your damage yourself. Alright, so those who want to view for the last time, you come in at like 2 or 3 and then go back. That's okay, that's good. That's what I'm the restaurant top, but right, so let's
Can you get that closer?
Left. Fire off your arm. Right, so you all taken the record, right? Ram. Right hand. Almost kind of face, but as much as what? Maybe only to stay. Touch him? Yeah. Everybody touch hand. I'm 56 off it, right? Say it very quickly so I want to do it. Can I transfer?
Lighting na right.
Yeah, we.
Company light on the side.
Book so much room. No, I feel like I pass by
Light on it.
Well, I had this one, but every time I come, you lose it. Don't be with it. Sa paparam nigam gang yam namaram jalam shikravira agnihi ihi agachah dishta vahyami stapayami pujami. Like up on top there a little bit. Yeah. So, 56 of friend and you all will say Swaha. Good?
Yep.
Om Loma Bhyah Swaha. Om Tvache Swaha. Om Lohitaya Swaha. Om Meru Bhyah Swaha. Om Manase Bhyah Swaha. Om Snayu Bhyah Swaha. Om Asti Bhyah Swaha. Om Majja Bhyah Swaha. Om Retase Bhyah Swaha. Om Payave Swaha. Om Ayasaya Swaha. Om Payasaya Swaha. Om Sanyasaya Swaha. Om Vyayasaya Swaha. Om Ujayasaya Swaha. Om Suche Swaha. Om Suchate Swaha. Om Suchmanaya Swaha. Om Shokaya Swaha. Om Tapase Swaha. Om Tapyate Swaha. Om Tapyamanaya Swaha. Om Taptaya Swaha. Om Nishkritye Swaha. Om Dharmarajaya Swaha. Om Prayashchitye Swaha. Om Bhishajaya Swaha. Om Antakaya Swaha. Om Yamaya Swaha. Om Mrityave Swaha. Om Brahmane Swaha. Om Brahmahatyaye Swaha. Om Vishwebhyah Swaha. Om Dhyaya Pratebhyah Swaha. Take all your rest. Om Yamaya Swaha. Around again. Om Sarva Papa Haram Digam Gam Yam Namalam Jalam.
Take one inch. Right?